Welcome, denizens of flyover country, to Geek Salad's retro movie reviews from the Geek Salad podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And, we're finally pulling the Band-Aid off, Mike. We're resuming our Pixar reviews. Because the last Pixar review we did was... Oh my God, was it It was Nemo.
It was Finding Nemo.
It was Finding Nemo, and that was weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We had already done The Incredibles a few years ago, so we hadn't covered that. So This brings us to the first... You know what? I'm just going to go out and say it. Road bump in the pristine quality of Pixar films. 2006's Cars.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God. Good Lord. All right. So let's. Oof. This one's gonna hurt. Actually, Kurt. Here's the thing. It's not gonna hurt nearly as badly as Cars 2 is going to hurt in a few weeks. Oh, yeah. Actually, in a few months. We'll tell you about a plan that we've got going on at the end of the show. But before we get into talking about Cars, I just wanted to introduce you to the newest member of the Funko Nerd Museum, given to my good friend, to me by my good friend Mike. Muad'Dib Paul Atreides is now officially on the Nerd Museum. So thank you. Oh, also this kick-ass shirt.
By Grabthar's Hammer.
By the Sons of Warvan, you will be avenged. What a savings. So that is that. And as you can see, Mike is demonstrating our cool Geek Salad swag, which as I was mentioning, I mentioned it during my talk of the Zack Snyder's Justice League with Thomas that we do have new designs in the works. Chances are, during one of my COVID vaccines, I will probably get deathly ill just because of the side effects, and I'll probably be just in bed, like pounding away on the laptop, like, I can do this. So,
I've heard that you should get a lot of sleep. So
that's what my mother said. My mother got hers yesterday, and it's funny because my dad, my stepmother, and my mother-in-law were all like, "Oh, I was sick for like 2 days, nausea, just wanted to sleep all the time." And my mother was like, "Yeah, I was really sleepy, and I pretty much just had to eat everything that wasn't nailed down." So I guess that's
cool. Good for her.
That's good. So I'm looking for. I just honestly just want that happy medium. Eventually, lots of Tylenol. That makes sense with the. Because I know they said when the throbbing starts in your arm, you know it's working. So it's like it's fitting locally, which I am psyched about. Kurt, I am so happy, by the way, that you got yours. Congratulations. It's what you get for not living in Massachusetts, where we are still waiting. Hopefully Monday, I will be up like I'm ordering concert tickets. Mike, you too, man. I will keep you posted. But anyway, we're not here to talk about COVID vaccines because kick-ass would be to finally say, hey, look, I got one. We are here to talk about Cars, something that is decidedly less kick-ass. Was there any point, as I am, here look, I got mine. Yeah, definitely. Was there at any point where you were like, why was I so afraid to watch this movie? Any point at all throughout the entire movie?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
First off, let me say I first watched this movie on Monday.
Okay.
So 2 days ago. I'd never seen it before. I'd seen like clips and pieces. I think I've seen the end. I still think I saw like the ending once, but when they were actually driving across country, like, and they're playing, doing the "Life Is a Highway" scene, which, by the way, I love that version of that song because I love Rascal Flatts. But I was like, this is just gorgeous imagery. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie to look at. I mean, animation is top notch. What's
Yeah,
what you about the rest of the movie? The animation is absolutely gorgeous.
it is. It is top tier. It is nice too because a lot of that has to do with they did a great job with surfaces. I noticed because I mean you're essentially talking about things,
Yeah,
things that talk, um, but like just the reflective surfaces off of the cars, and you could feel the grit, and you could feel like the dirt and rust on Mater,
yeah,
and just how like you could almost feel like that coat of wax on on your fingers just looking
mm,
at lightning, and a
yeah,
lot of the other race cars. That is beautiful. The vistas, and in fact, like the area, this is the sprawling vistas where all like the buttes are all like shaped like cars.
yeah.
That is really neat.
And that yeah, that one with like the Hudson emblem on top
Yeah.
is. I mean, if you're a fan of cars like Joe, I bet you had like a field day just picking out all the different car styles.
I I agree with you. I feel like it is a beautiful looking movie. It is a feast for the eyes in terms of its visual representation. It also was
Give
nice
me one
to
second. I gotta let my
you
cat out.
do it. Yeah, I heard the cat meow. I'll keep
Yeah,
talking. I'll keep talking. Um, I what I enjoyed about the movie was that there were so many different models of cars that you were looking at. So when you didn't, I never once felt like I was looking at like a copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste of just the same car over and over and over again. I'm gonna have to repeat all this from Mike again, aren't I? You legitimately were looking at different models, and I know that was a big thing with John Lasseter is that his dad, um, well, his dad was a mechanic, right? You're muted.
yeah. There we go. Sorry.
That's okay.
Uh, I'm not. I'm not 100% sure. Hold on. I've got Wikipedia up here.
Okay. I know that the reason why cars stubbornly hung around,
Kept coming
um,
back and again
and
and
again,
again.
again, and again, and again, in a way that was just like it stretches sanity. I think was because of John Lasseter's father, and I'm sure that John Lasseter
Oh,
always seemed to, yeah.
yeah. His father was a parts manager at a Chevrolet dealership.
Okay, so yeah, he had Carman in his blood, and
Yeah,
John Lasseter really looked to be that kind of guy who probably had like, Cameron's dad's garage full of fancy cars.
yeah.
Um,
And like I know he said a few times that cars really came out of taking those long road trips with
yeah,
his parents and his sister down Route 66 and just the fondness he had of that. And you can tell this movie was made by someone that loved like the kind of the open roads
yeah,
feel like drive trips.
exactly, and that's like one of those things that as somebody who would have grown up kind of in that era, that's like one of the one things I resent about not having grown up in the West Coast is that those Route 66 road trips, we
Yeah,
literally have nothing like that on the East Coast.
no, nothing.
Where are you? I'm on 95 right now. I gotta go to the Jersey turn. I gotta go to the Jersey Turnpike. Pray
Yeah,
for Mojo.
yeah, yeah. For me, it'd be oh, we're taking a trip up to see the leaves change color in Vermont and New Hampshire.
Which in and of itself is a lovely thing, but it's
Yeah, but
not like that.
not
It's not that. It's not the wide open road, and
yeah.
that's a thing that you only get when you have to drive through a desert.
Be a much harder movie to make about that one.
Exactly,
Leaf
exactly.
Peepers, the movie.
So yeah, we got through how beautiful the movie is. I'll be 100% honest with you. There was one solid joke in the entire movie. I've seen the movie. I saw most of the movie a few years ago. I never finished it because my son got bored. target audience. He was like 3 or 4 at the time. Target audience
Yeah.
called it out on its bullshit when Lightning jumps a bunch of other cars and sticks his tongue out, and he looks.
And
at me,
that was how he ties the race. I mean, by a tongue.
James looked at me and goes, "Daddy, cars don't have tongues." I'm like, "I know, buddy. It's okay, buddy." It's but there is one solid joke, and it's delivered by Tony Shalhoub's very stereotypical Italian tar salon salesman.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know Ferrari? No, I'm actually a race car. Oh no, we only like Formula One. It's like the one great joke are the European cars only care about F1 racing.
I mean, that's kind of fair.
It is very fair. It's just funny too, because then I had to explain, this joke I had to explain to my kids about how like F1 racing really uses like real cars. NASCAR, or which they don't actually call it NASCAR in this. It's the Piston Cup.
Yeah.
They're essentially stock cars. These are not like specialty model cars. They are essentially just assembled to do one thing, and that is turn left at a high speed.
Yeah, most of them are very, very, very stripped down. Probably more so than is actually legal.
Perhaps, yeah. I'll be 100% honest with you. I lived down south for a few years. I do not get the appeal of NASCAR. I truly do not. It was actually funny because, God, it's like the year before like my life stabilized. It was about a year before I met my wife. I had a friend who lived out in Indiana, and I went to go visit her and her husband and their family. And it was like I had no interest in NASCAR. Meanwhile, her husband and all his buddies were over watching NASCAR, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll help you cook, because it's raining for 5 minutes. The cars are all lined up. Go sports, go.
Yeah, that was one slight issue I had with it, among others. But like during the end race, like they had that yellow flag come out and they had the pace car. I'm like, I'm sure there's a NASCAR rule about this. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I'm just gonna go with it, whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm sure I would enjoy it a lot more if I knew the rules of NASCAR. I just don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not really exactly sure what those rules are either, other than the lap doesn't count. The cars can keep driving, but they're driving at a slower speed, just to mark the space of a car that needs to be fixed. And I'm assuming that they give them X amount of time to do the repair that they need. The pit crew's got to do that in X amount of time before the pace car comes off, and they've got to play a game of catch up.
Right.
So that really is all I can think of.
Okay. I mean, I admit that one is on me. I don't know enough about NASCAR, and that took a little bit out of it. But if you make a movie where you need, like, some of the enjoyment of it, you need to know the rules of NASCAR, then you're aiming at a certain target audience, and everyone else is going to be excluded a little bit.
Right. Because the audience for this movie was essentially boys between the ages of 4 and 8 and NASCAR fans. And I don't feel like I am off base in saying that I really, really feel like they handled their appreciation of NASCAR fans with the largest amount of disdain. If you think about, I mean, just think about how the cars that are watching this race are being portrayed. They're all a bunch of loud, noisy hillbillies.
Yeah.
Or mountain folk, if that's your preferred term.
I mean, yeah. Hey, I mean, in its defense, though, they do treat like they've got Dale Earnhardt there. They got Tom Petty as the king.
Yep.
And they even have the king being painted Petty Blue.
Yep.
So I mean, they do treat the NASCAR royalty with respect, but
The royalty they treat with respect. The
yeah,
audience, on the other hand, the crowd, the fans, exactly.
lots and lots of rusty cars, lots and lots of RVs,
Yep.
and lots of very distinctive accents.
Oh, yeah. There's the genteel Southern accent, which you did not hear at all in this movie.
You did hear it from the car with the horn, the King's agent, voiced by Humpy Wheeler.
Okay.
Who I know Humpy Wheeler because he was on an episode of American Pickers.
Oh, okay. Another thing that drove me nuts about this movie was they did the thing that drives me insane when when other animated studios do this, and that is try to integrate our real world into their world. The one that really comes to mind is Bob Cutlass.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that is some Bush League DreamWorks animation bullshit. That's a Shark Tales Kelpicola bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, it's like going back to Flintstones. It's
exactly. The BC-52s, exactly.
Yeah, and and it's like who that it was like Margot Hellrock or something like that. Everyone had a rock in their name.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Stone.
Rock or Stone in their name. Her name is Sharon Stone. Get it?
Nudge.
Why aren't you laughing? This is supposed to be funny. Wait till our Christmas episode. We're not going to explain how that's possible.
And with cars, with one they didn't even bother. It was Michael Schumacher Ferrari, because Michael Schumacher drives a Ferrari.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. It was tough. I mean, as cars go, as like the actual physical thing of cars go, I know what I like. Not a car person. It pretty much gets me from point A to point B. I just want to do that without it breaking down. It's my prerequisite. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Usually not. No.
I've got my preferences for the family car. I prefer Subarus. I loved my Subaru. We are now currently driving a Honda, which is still a very good car. I love my Ford. I absolutely love my Ford. It's an 07 Ford Fusion. Love driving that thing. But that's where it stops.
Yeah. Do I look at Ferraris and like Porsches with like, oh wow, that's a gorgeous car. I wouldn't want to drive it, but that is a gorgeous car.
Well, I always said that if I were to make just an obscene amount, if I had just like come into an obscene, consequence-free amount of money, I already told Joe that what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy like 2 souped-up hot rods of whatever choice he wants, BMW, Ferrari, whatever, and we're gonna drive through the streets of Italy, just anywhere in Italy, and just shoot guns at each other like it's a Bond movie. That's just I'm driving down steps.
Meanwhile, the Italian police like, yeah, go, woo!
He's a bit of So let's talk a little bit about this world that John Lasseter's created.
It's a hard world to wrap your head around.
Why do the cars have seats? If there's no human beings in this world, why do the cars have seats?
Why do the cars have seats? Why in the passenger train are there like actual like passenger cars?
Why are there ambulances? Why are there buses? Why are there RVs? You brought up the RVs earlier. Why are there recreational vehicles?
Yeah. I mean, for me, honestly, the only way I could wrap my head around the logic of this this movie, is much like Toy Story. It's all taking place in the imagination of a kid playing with Matchbox cars. That's the only way it worked for me.
Okay, because even in the lore of Toy Story, they kind of said that this is really happening because Woody talks to Sid.
Well, yeah. But like that they sequence in I think Toy Story 3 where it's Pam is robbing the bank, and it's like all kind of imagination, and then it kind of pulls out and it breaks the imagination and shows what's really happening.
Right.
For me, Cars would have to be all in that imagination, never breaks, never pulls the curtain open.
Right. I like where your head's at with that one. I don't think that's what the creative forces behind this series.
I'm aware, but that's the only way it works for me.
Explanation you can have.
Yeah.
Seriously, so many. But here's the funny thing too, and I think I threw this out at you a text when I'm watching it. People don't exist in this reality, but apparently Jimi Hendrix did.
Yeah.
With George Carlin also doing one of his last roles. This was George Carlin was the hippie.
Really?
With his pure oil, man, because they don't want you knowing about this. That's George Carlin. When I first heard the voice, I thought it was Tommy Chong. Because
Cheech Marin was Ramon.
Cheech Marin, oh my God, Cheech, come on, dude, you're better than this. You really are better than this. Why is it every time Disney calls on you, it's like, so what should I do? Oh, Chicano, dude, just why are you asking? You've done 3 movies with us. You're the same character in all of them. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Paul Newman, and this was Paul Newman's last role.
Last feature role. I think he did a couple of documentaries.
Right. Cool Hand Luke, bro. And
what's her name? Mona from Who's the Boss?
Oh yeah. Was this one of her last? I mean, she just recently died.
Yeah, she recently
Catherine
died. Yes. Yeah, because she was the old Model T.
Yeah. Her husband was the one who founded the town.
Right. Oh yeah, she only died like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, she was also very, very old when she died, but
good for her.
Yeah.
But she was pretty much just playing Mona as a Model T. She was still, she's the one that slapped that VW on the back with it and put the bumper sticker like Butte.
Yeah.
On the back is like, oh yeah, I was slapping his ass because she's an old lady who's really horny.
Okay, so George Carlin, I'm just on IMDb right now looking at George Carlin's. So he did Cars in 2006. He died in 88. He died in June of 88.
June of 2008.
Oh, 08. Sorry. Yep. I kind of knew what I was saying there.
Yeah.
Everything else he did was straight to video, and most of this stuff was Thomas the Tank Engine stuff.
Yeah.
Because he was one of the conductors of Shining Time Station.
Yeah, he hit the latter half of his career. He handled a lot better than someone say like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, well, he just kind of knew, that they're just after the voice. Just do this, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, George Carlin's in that. And then there's Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
But yes. We also had Michael Keaton as the villain, Chick Hicks.
I didn't even realize that until closer to the end of the movie.
Yeah, no, I pulled up that just so I could look through the voices as I was like, oh, Michael Keaton. But then once I knew it, then I could okay, yeah, I kind of hear it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy. They gave him far too much leeway, as far as I'm concerned. I know you're a fan of blue collar comedy, which I am not. I don't even. I apologize if I'm speaking for you. I don't even think you're a fan of Larry the Cable Guy.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Of the 4 blue collar comedy tour guys, he is definitely my least favorite. I will say, in this movie, I didn't hate him as much as I thought I would. I think that's primarily because I've been at the Cars Land out in California,
Yeah.
which is actually a lot of fun, and it is Radiator Springs kind of recreated, and the Mater's Junkyard Jamboree ride is ridiculously fun. It is far more fun than it has any right being.
Isn't that the same basic ride mechanics as the Toy Story Saucer Spin at Toy Story Land and Hollywood Studios?
I couldn't tell you. I've never been on that ride. But
Okay,
it's basically like the Whip, the Scrambler, kind of those two rides combined.
Yeah, a kiddie version of that, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay. It's the exact same ride then.
Okay.
It's the exact same ride that my wife and child had to sit out in the sun for while myself and my other child went and rocked the roller coaster.
Yeah, but yeah, every time John and I go there, we always go on that ride at least a couple of times because we cannot ride that ride without smiling and laughing. It is so much fun.
Nice. Then we're just gonna have to do that one. We're just gonna have to do the saucer spin. But the best thing to come out of Cars, quite honestly, is that Sklar Brothers bit.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm fairly certain it's on YouTube. Look up the Sklar Brothers.
It's definitely on Spotify, which is how I listen to it. Get you out.
Barbara.
Hey, little racer, what's your name? Barbara.
Get you out.
He's just straddling back off. Definitely check that one out.
Again,
I don't know what else I could.
I thought I would.
Go ahead. You probably have more.
I thought I would hate the movie more than I did. I mean, for a movie that is so squarely and so clearly aimed at younger kids, there's a lot of adult humor in there.
Oh,
I mean, you had the two girls flashing McQueen.
Their headlights,
you had a lot of jokes said by a lot of the characters from Radiator Springs they would go over the heads of everybody but adults, and quite frankly, adults are not who this movie was aimed at.
No, not at all. The back tattoo joke.
Yeah, the tramp stamp one.
The tramp stamp, exactly.
That being said, I liked Bonnie Hunt's Sally character. I don't think she was a perfect character. I mean, it's like I get why she's there, but there were definitely problems with it. But I liked her character. I liked the Radiator Springs. I thought it was a nice little town. It looked very pretty when they had all the lights going on.
Yeah, I really that is something I really enjoyed about the movie. I really enjoyed the settings, the design of just the sets were really well thought out. And really, it reminded me a lot of, even though they have very little to do with each other, the movie American Graffiti. Just in terms of just the cruising down the road, down the city streets and everything. That was really cool. Yeah, you're right. I didn't despise this movie as much as I expected I was going to. Not one I'm going to revisit anytime.
No,
ever.
I mean, it's definitely towards the lower end of my Pixar list.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not at the bottom.
Right.
Which I'm worried that its follow-up might be.
Yeah. There is. I can understand this. This is what I would consider to be a put on the background because you got to do some work type of movie with kids that do not have discerning tastes. My children are of the age right now where they will scrutinize what they watch. So,
I did like the soundtrack. I did enjoy this. I thought it was one. I mean, not just the actual music, but the score as well. Like the music that they're playing when Sally and Lightning are driving along, and they drive past the waterfall, drive past all the scenery. I really like the score.
Yeah. And this is also one of the few Pixar movies, at least up to this point, that actually threw a few pop tunes in there. Most Pixar movies, again, up to this point, did not do that. You'd get like your cover of something, like you got Beyond the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
You always had those Randy Newman songs pop in.
Yeah, who did the score of this one anyway?
That's a good question. You're gonna have to look that.
Music by Randy Newman.
Really? Okay. I couldn't remember if this is one of the ones he didn't do, because like Thomas Newman did Nemo and did he did Nemo and then he did Wall-E,
which is coming next, or
yeah,
next
it's
for
the
our
next
Pixar.
one in our Pixar list that we have to cover. So that means that if you missed our Ratatouille episode, I'll throw that up on Twitter and you can link back to that one.
Oh yeah, because Michael Giacchino did Ratatouille.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino did Ratatouille, Up, and The Incredibles.
Yeah. So I mean, out of all the Randy Newman scores for all the movies, I think this is actually one of my favorites of his.
Okay.
It
didn't stand out to me, but
yeah. Well, I think I might have noticed it more because the Cars rides, especially the big Cars ride out in California, they use a lot of this score in that, and so and you notice a bit more when you're driving through it.
Yeah. I will give this movie another ding though, is that they never once had Owen Wilson go, "Wow." Maybe they did, I just missed it, but
he was Ka-chow.
I know that there are darker roads ahead in terms of just the car franchise in and of itself.
Yeah. And I mean, genuinely, I mean, much like Finding Nemo, Lightning McQueen is a very dislikable character for the majority of this movie. Even when he he fixes part of the road and they're all like treating him nice, he's still a dick to them.
Yeah.
He is still a real dick, and they're all like, "Oh, well, he's kind of nice." No, he's an asshole to you guys.
Yeah,
but but he does have a more gradual transition than like Marlin.
All right, we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
I not agree with the rapid change in Marlin's attitude, but it's one of those things that. Now, you do realize this entire movie, by the way, was lifted wholesale from Doc Hollywood, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, this was not a brand new story. I mean, we've seen this story 1,000 times before,
right?
And we'll probably see it 1,000 times again. And it was not even done as well as some of others we've seen of this storylines. But
no,
I mean,
Doc Hollywood.
Yeah. I like Paul Newman. I did a good job in it.
I thought he was fine. No issues with Paul Newman.
Yeah, I wish he was given better. I think that his kind of betrayal, which wasn't a betrayal, right? And then his kind of like his redemption at the very end, it's like it's very sloppily handled, but
literally handled within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was like. Whatever.
From thanks for the tip to you've got this, kid. 5 minutes.
It's like okay, okay, and then we have to think about what Cars sex would be like. So I'd rather not think about that.
Let's not. I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, all right. So anyway, folks, that was Cars. What did you think about the movie? Let us know. Leave a polite comment below. As always, hit that like button if you like what you're watching here. We want to know. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. We put this stuff out every week. And boy, this week we've got a lot going on. So definitely do that. We are taking another break from Pixar for the month of April. April is Geek Salad Disney month. So what we're going to do is, as we dedicate one of our our podcasts to the Disney scenes that absolutely wrecked us, we're going to take the next few weeks and we're going to discuss 4 live action Disney movies, all accessible through Disney Plus because, again, unpaid shills for the network, our corporate masters. And we are going to discuss, what do we come up with? Bedknobs and Broomsticks, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Darby O'Gill, The Little People, and The Black Hole.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to put these on our Twitter page, which is at Geek Salad Radio, in a poll. And we want to know which one you want to see first, and then take them from there. Highest rank goes first, lowest rank goes last. But I think that'll fill up the month of April very nicely.
Yes.
So this should be a lot of fun to discuss. So yeah, definitely going to be doing that. And then once we are done with that, we will conclude Disney month and go right back to Pixar.
We'll conclude Disney month and go back to Disney.
Yeah, exactly. God, it's just a never-ending loop, is it? We are going to discuss. Like I mentioned before, we already did a video on Ratatouille, which would be the next movie in the lineup. I will link that on Twitter when the time comes. But we'll be talking about 2008's WALL-E as our next Pixar movie.
WALL-E.
Started watching that again today too. God damn, what a beautiful movie that is.
It is a gorgeous movie.
Yeah, but now I get 4 weeks worth of Disney live action to catch up on.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's that. So, as I mentioned, if you want to follow us on the socials, check us out at Geek Salad Radio on Twitter, Facebook. We are Geek Salad Podcast, and on TeePublic, where you can get this sweet swag that Mike is wearing right here. TeePublic.com, keyword Geek Salad Podcast as well. Kurt, thanks for watching. So, folks, here's a little housekeeping. If you are watching us live, stay tuned, because in a few minutes, we are going to return for our recap of episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Again, on the thing on Mike's hat. And if you don't, you can check out all of our stuff right here at YouTube. So stick around if you're watching live. We'll have a new video stream up in a few minutes. Otherwise, Mike's cat will attack you. And yep, come on down, cat. Come the party.
I have to end the broadcast. Come on.
I know, and that's the thing. I'm trying to stretch time for you right now because the cat's ass is in your face, and
yes,
I know you
yes,
got to hit the button to end.
Yes, I do. Okay, I'm there. I'm good.
So hang around if you are going to stick around for our Falcon Winter Soldier conversation. Otherwise, check it out later on. Check out all of our other great stuff. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike, and this is Ninja.
Hey, Ninja. By the way, don't forget, our podcast is wherever you get your podcast from. So check that out. This week, we will have a new show up where we discuss our video game console disappointments. I am this close to finishing editing it, so it will be up before the weekend. Yay. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. Talk to you later.